Right. Make sure it's going. I wonder if you can stop the delay on Twitch.
Did it matter?
No, I'm just impatient. Are we doing it? Apparently not. Did I hit the right button?
Oh gosh.
What?
How do I get rid of... Oh, there we go. So why is Dave so giant tonight?
Well, it all depends on your perspective.
Yeah. I'm more important.
But if you reckon. Okay, let's Audacity. On 3, everybody ready?
Hang
No.
on.
Not ready.
Oh my god.
Now ready.
This is why we'll never get professional. Alright, on 3.
And no, wait. The Skype app is being stupid. Man.
Oh, Ben, you're a static face again.
Oh no. And
You instantly age backwards. Dave, don't smile like a creeper. You're being streamed.
I can't tell what I look like.
Well, at least we can see you until your lights turn off. Ben.
I have a lamp.
Google Chrome is having a heart attack.
I love lamp.
Do you really love lamp, or are you just saying lamp?
Derpstorm, why are you watching?
Oh, that'll be Kirsty then.
Why is Kirsty watching you? It's even creepier.
Hi, wife.
Hi, Dave's wife.
I
Probably
did
wants to make sure I'm doing what I said I was doing in the garage.
He's not playing the Switch again, is he?
Are you ready?
Well,
Are you ready, Ben?
I was.
No.
How can you not open Audacity?
Now the Skype app has... I've got Audacity open, but the Skype app has disappeared. Like, it's not even on my toolbar. Why can we use Discord? It's so much better. No, that's the wrong Skype app. Don't open that one. No. Hang on. Let me get my house in order.
Bloody teacher. Can't use technology. Well, if you're watching while we struggle,
Rance is watching.
Enjoy some old Rainbow Six Siege footage while we wait for Ben.
So you're giving up completely on the trying to pretend that this is you playing now?
I'm not pretending. My hands aren't even on the keyboard.
Wow, that's some skill. Rainbow Six is harder here.
He has great dexterity.
We did try playing and doing a podcast once, but
terrible.
I can't concentrate on two things.
Yeah, I'm the same. Was I on the same? No, I was doing a live review.
Maybe
with someone.
Maybe if you were doing like a 4X game or a turn-based game, maybe. But
nah, you almost need to be chatting about the game though. Like if you're playing Minecraft and you're talking about Minecraft.
Yeah.
And you're like, hey, come over here and look at this. Because when you and Andy were talking during that, you're doing that stream of the farming simulator. That was so funny.
Okay, I recovered it.
Yeah, yay. Have you opened Audacity yet?
Is there a way to not see Dave's video?
Why?
Because I think you're like screwing up the Skype stupid Windows 10 app.
Oh, why are you using the Windows 10 Skype?
Because the regular
Because the desktop
Skype
one
isn't
doesn't
working.
work. Oh, come
Yeah,
on.
this app is terrible garbage.
Just open Audacity.
Why does Windows not give you options to do things these days?
What do you mean?
Like they just strip away like apps used to have like heaps of options you could customize, and now they're all in these dumb like Windows 10 menus that like
Hey, we
you have no
peaked.
control.
No, that's because you're running a Windows 10 app. You're not running the
Yeah, I know,
Windows 10
but that's
desktop
what I mean.
application.
Because the application is not working.
Hey, guys, can I just say that we peaked at 6 viewers and now we're back down to 2?
All right, let's
Wow.
start. All right, I've got Audacity going. Let's see how this goes.
All right, Audacity's open.
Yep.
On 3. 1, 2, 3. Hello, hello. Peaks are okay.
Test.
All right. What did we decide? Episode 43. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 43 of the Another Dungeon podcast. Joining me is Homeless Dave
Salutations.
and Ben.
Holla for a dollar.
If
Why do you
you
pause after our intro so long? It's like there's lag.
So we can see our catchphrases.
so you can say hi. Haven't we been doing this long enough that you know that you can say hi?
Yeah, but I don't know what you're waiting for at the end. Are you
Okay.
expecting more and you're always disappointed?
Do you want me to just cut you off?
Yep.
I could be a host on ABC Radio if I keep cutting you off. So when we recorded episode 42, it was the day before the Switch launched, and we didn't really have a chance to talk about the Switch because we hadn't played it yet. But now we've all got Switches. So I didn't think Dave was sold on it,
Yeah.
but apparently he went and got one anyway. And
We had
Ben
a
and
birthday.
he did have a
It
birthday.
was my birthday and I had vouchers, so
Fair enough. So did you go to a midnight launch?
no. I pre-ordered it the day before. I pre-ordered the Switch at JB and then Zelda at EB because they were the only ones that had stock left. It sucked actually. I went into JB and I asked them to pre-order the Switch, and they're like, "Yeah, no worries, we'll just put your name on it." And they grabbed the Switch from the pile behind them where they were marking them all and put my name on it and put it in the stuff to be picked up tomorrow pile. And I was like, "Oh,
Nice.
come on, can't you just like give it to me now by accident?"
Hey Dave, which
Well,
one
they
did
actually
you
have the
get?
stock there.
Which one did you get?
What's
Dave?
that?
Which one did you get?
I got the sleek and
Ooh, he got the
you-
grey one.
Anyway, you already know I didn't get the 83.
Whereas I got the beautiful neon colors.
It's
Yeah.
not
So I
neon,
give one
there's
color to
nothing
me,
neon
one to my
about it.
friend. It's beautiful neon, is effervescent blue, and groupie lipstick red.
if you studied
It's
art,
enhanced
Dave,
my life.
you would know that blue and red is neon. They're the primary neon colors.
Mhm.
Are they?
They're the two main characters in Neon Genesis, red and blue.
And that's all that counts.
Mhm.
Um,
But yeah, so you guys obviously went to midnight launches.
I did
did.
indeed.
So why? Tell me why. Fill me in on. Yeah.
well, Ben's a student, so he has nothing to do. That's what I'm
Pretty much.
assuming. Yeah.
So you both had the next day off.
No, I've been to the Wii midnight launch and the Wii U midnight launch. And since I went to the Wii launch and saw the kind of people that crawl out at that hour, it's always been kind of amusing to me just to observe the kind of people that go to these things. Specifically for the Switch, I went because Logan came out that night. So me and my friends went and watched Logan at the cinema. The movie finished at 11:45, so we ran across to EB Games, joined the queue, and picked up the Switch. And I got it mostly so I could go home and have it there the next day and play straight away without going to the shop.
Without having to
Yeah,
leave the
pretty
house.
cool.
Yeah, I just want to
Um,
get straight to that Zelda.
I actually played mine. So I had the day off, not particularly because the Switch came out, but that also helps. I went in at 10, picked up all my games and accessories, and got my ticket. Went back at 11:45. They shifted the line through really quickly, which was good.
Mm.
But there wasn't
What did
enough.
you do
Organized.
between 10 and 12?
I went home
Oh,
Oh, how far away was EB?
like 10 or 15 minutes.
Wow.
Not far.
Why didn't you just go in there at 1 o'clock in the morning?
Well, because that's dumb. By 1 o'clock in the morning, I was playing Zelda.
It's 12:30 then. Whatever.
It was pretty quick, but they didn't have any raffles or giveaways or line competitions or anything.
They did used to do that. They did that with the Wii, but I remember it just made the store really crowded, and a lot of people missed out and then felt that. So I think they stopped doing it because it was pointless.
So unless you can give everyone a prize, you can't give anyone a prize.
Well, no, I think it's that EB Games felt like giving out things for free was not in their nature.
Yeah, that is also true. Yeah, so it was good to get that, I don't know, hour of Zelda in.
Yeah.
The console itself was really easy to set up. I was actually surprised by how small the tablet was. Now that I've used it, it's a good size, but I don't know, for some reason in my head it was bigger.
I was surprised how big it was. I thought in my head it would be smaller.
Right.
But yeah, I like the size.
What did you think?
I was with Tim. I found it smaller than I anticipated, but it's still not small enough to make it. I mean, it's portable, but it's not like you have to carry it in a case whenever you go anywhere. So it's not like something you can slip in your pocket.
I think there's a difference between handheld and portable, and I think this is a portable console in that it's designed to be really easily taken to like a friend's house and set up like a LAN game or plugged into a TV. But whilst you can pull it out and use it as a handheld, it's not like hand size. It hasn't got that same convenience the 3DS had.
What did you find? What did you think of the Joy-Cons when you first started them?
They sit in your hand really comfortably.
Yeah.
I tried to use them like a Wiimote first of all, and I don't think that's quite how they're intended. But they really shine.
So you were flailing them about?
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't sit quite as well. I don't know. I didn't have the cord connected, so my hands were drifting apart. I don't know what it was. But they slot into the system really well. They slot into the controller really well. And handing one to a friend, turning it sideways, that works much more effectively than I thought it would. I'm instantly interested in buying a lot more multiplayer games on the Switch, or like there's indie titles that have a multiplayer mode, because it's so convenient to just hand a controller to a friend.
I was surprised how heavy they were. They've got like they feel
heavy.
They feel quality. Like they've got a nice weight to them.
Yeah.
They don't feel lightweight. They don't feel cheap. They feel solid. But I immediately started using the Pro Controller anyway, which is
the Pro Controller is
really good.
Controller.
See, that's where I was surprised. So I didn't want to fork out $80, $90 for a controller like that. I thought I would eventually, but I thought I'd see what the original horrible looking controller would be like first. Like that, what's it called? The little Joy-Con. You know the plastic thing you clip the Joy-Cons into?
Yeah.
Grip.
What's that called?
The grip, yeah.
Yeah. What's it called? The grip.
Yeah.
I think
yours is only ugly because it's grey.
Yeah, anyway.
It looks like a dog that way.
Well, it matches all my other consoles, you see. I can't have colour in there. Anyway, that was surprisingly comfortable. And aside from the trouble I'm having with the left Joy-Con, I don't know if you call it sticking or losing signal. I'm having that issue where sometimes like you're playing Zelda and Link will just keep running in one direction.
There's no problem. Nintendo officially stated there's no problem, and then they said that they're looking into it.
Yeah, they also told you how to avoid the problem by not resting your fingers on the top of the Joy-Con, which has worked perfectly.
Okay.
So, yeah, as long as you don't rest. But the thing is, you always rest your fingers up there, especially as the left trigger is your rune in Zelda, which I use quite a bit.
Bumper, I'd call it their left bumper.
What did I call it?
Trigger. Triggers at the bottom, bumpers at the top. Xbox terminology.
Oh yeah, the bottoms.
So
they're both sort of.
One in three had that issue because I don't. And Ben, I don't think you've had.
I don't have.
You guys don't play with the controller, so how do you know?
I do use the Joy-Cons.
I use the controller for like 1-2 switch and stuff like that. I've used it a bit.
Yeah.
But do you use it?
But-
Hang on, no. But do you use it in the grip thing?
Yes.
No, but the grip thing is just a case, isn't it? Like it's
Yeah,
not
but the
adding
grip
any.
thing puts the grip thing puts the left controller in a position where you're going to block the signal with your hand. So if you're using it sideways, and keep in mind, I've played for about 40 hours or so, and I've only had this problem very sporadically.
Yeah.
Once every few days for about couple of minutes until I knew how to avoid it, and then it was just a couple of seconds.
So it's not too bad.
Yeah, and when I'm playing stuff like snipper clips. Oh shit, snipper clips. When I'm playing that,
It's a good game.
we've
Is
never
that the
had a
Australian
problem at all.
version?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that's shit egg snipper clips.
Well, we may as well continue talking about problems because I do have a problem with my console. And that's
Can't put it down.
Hang on. I'm not convinced this is a problem with your console.
Hang on, you're alluding to the fact that Dude, you're giving away the secrets that we've already recorded the first 20 minutes of this app and are re-recording it.
So I've got an Xbox One, a PS4, and a Switch next to each other.
Mm-hmm.
The first two consoles have no problems connecting to the wireless, but the Switch keeps dropping out and then reconnecting periodically. Now, it is a distance between the Switch and the router thing, because I moved the router into the lounge and it's fine. But it seems like it's got a weak or a poor Wi-Fi connector in it. And apparently, the processor that's running the Wi-Fi is also possibly the thing that causes the frame rate drops in Legend of Zelda.
Yes, I did hear that. That's easily patched out, that specific issue.
Yeah.
With your Switch though, like it's really interesting that you're experiencing that problem because I can go, my router's upstairs and I can go all the way like 3 rooms away and I still have internet connection to it.
What router do you have? What wireless?
I'm just using the Optus one that Optus give you, so nothing special.
A, B, G, N?
What form? I'm not actually sure. I should look into that.
So I've got all in, and I'm the same. I've gone over the road to a mate's place.
Oh wow!
And that's actually worked that far away as well.
So, in a seriously legit website called Trusted Reviews, there's 12 common Nintendo Switch problems. One's a dead pixel, which I haven't heard of. You heard of it, Ben?
I've heard it.
That's I've heard of it. It's a common thing with handheld stuff. My brother's PSP had a dead pixel.
Did he take it back?
No, it is not that big an issue. Only on like if the loading screen is completely all black.
Right.
You don't really notice it.
So
And
the
it's hard
I got
to
one on my
control that
I got
kind
one
of
on my
thing.
Vita, and they wouldn't take it back, and it pisses me off all the time.
Yeah, a dead pixel would annoy me. The Joy-Con issue, which is known. The other thing I noticed, and it's not a problem, but my Switch was nearly out of battery, and so put it on the charger Saturday morning and kept playing Zelda. After 4 to 6 hours of playing, it had barely charged. So when you're actually using the Switch and trying to charge at the same time, it charges super slow. I don't know if you guys.
I wonder if that's something to do with. So you were charging it in the dock, yeah?
Yep.
Because I've done that, but okay. So I guess this comes down to how I use the Switch, which is basically I play it as a console or a handheld device. I don't do any of the shit that they did on the ad.
Is that because you don't have friends?
No, I'm just not a douchebag that takes Switches to parties.
It's not
I
effing
got
Karen.
another console.
You're not a Karen.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not a Karen. No, but so I'll play downstairs, and then when it's bedtime, I'll go up and either read or I'll play the Switch. And when it's running low on battery, I've got a USB Type-C charger set up next to my bed, so I'll actually plug it in and keep playing it in a handheld format. And it usually charges pretty quickly.
Okay.
So I don't
Maybe
know.
it's the docked and then pushing it to the TV and then trying to charge at the same time that does it.
Yeah, well, I suppose when it's docked, it's using the graphic processor in the dock, isn't it, to output a better image?
Well, supposedly output a better image.
That's true.
Well, yeah, but if it's using additional hardware, then it's going to use some of that power going to the station.
Yeah.
Then again, it should have a lot more power going to it than a little mobile phone charger. But I don't really know how power works, so I'll butt out of that. Out of that, whatever.
You should know how power works, Dave.
On
So
the Switch.
you're talking about not being a Karen. I bought 1-2 Switch and I downloaded the Snippet Clips demo, and then I went and had dinner at Dad's place, and I decided to take the Switch with me. And while I was cooking, I managed to just kick it out on the kitchen table and play 1-2 Switch with Jackie, and it was so simple. It's quick to set up. Quick little mini games work well in that instance. Something that's easy to put down and pick up, and I never thought that I would use the console in that way, but if they provide the right titles to do it, then yeah, I can definitely see myself taking it to other people's places because it's just so simple.
See, that's the thing though for me, because it depends on the titles. Because with the titles I've got at the moment, like I have played like that. I played one Snipper Clips with my daughter, and it was fantastic. And if we go on holiday to Mildura or something, then yeah, I'll probably play it like that for convenience. But it'll all come down to the games for me, because Snipper Clips I'm already bought off.
Yeah.
1-2 Switch, I'm sorry, I'm not paying $70 for what should be a demo that comes with the bloody system.
Yeah.
I'll pay $30 or something, I guess. But yeah, as you say, when the games come out, then it could be a useful thing. But at the moment, I reckon it's just one of those. I think it's one of those gimmicks that will be fun when the system is new or when people haven't seen it, but
I think
won't get that big a share of your primary use.
See, software will determine whether it's a gimmick or not, I think.
And at the moment, we don't have any major, except Snipper Clips, no major first-party Nintendo games with that use of controller. But we have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe coming out, which will make use of that mode. And we have, what's the other one? Oh, Splatoon apparently has the split screen mode that way.
But you see, those
so with games like that.
Yeah, those two are massive battery drain games, I'm going to assume. And you can't charge it while it's kicked out because it charges on the bottom.
Yeah, great design.
But that split controller mode can also be used. Like if you go to a friend's house, they have a Switch. You just put your thing in their dock, and you can. I think it can sync up to 8 controllers. So theoretically, if you had multiple Switches, you can sync 4 of the sets of the controllers.
The battery issue is still going to be a thing. I bet you any money they'll come out with some slimline charging dock thing that you can just, you know what I mean, that doesn't cover the screen.
A more portable.
Yeah, they'll come out with something that you can just plug into the wall and then clip your thing in and it'll hold it in like a dock. So, because that little stand on the back isn't fantastic.
No. It doesn't have to charge in the dock. It can charge just plugging the cable in directly.
No, but what Tim's saying is when you're standing it up, it can't charge. The port's on the bottom of the console.
Unless you cut a hole in your desk.
Oh, I heard someone use the Zelda amiibo, the squid thing, to hold it up with the legs.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, you could do that, I guess.
Great design.
It's interesting. Well, I guess if you're docking it, it has to be at the bottom, doesn't it? It could be.
Yeah.
Anyway, the only other thing I've really heard of is people scratching the corners of their switches from docking and undocking so much, which can just be solved.
Are they recalling the dock for that?
Are they?
No, nothing confirmed. Nintendo are investigating it because the amount of people complaining is still really negligible compared to the amount of success. They've shipped 1.5 million units, and their range of failed experiences is well within the acceptable percentage for any console.
Did you say shipped?
Yes.
Shipped, not sold.
Yes.
Well, purchased, no sold. Same thing.
It's not the
these
same
days.
thing. Shipped
It
means
is the same thing at the moment, isn't they? Aren't they sold out?
Yeah,
if they're sold out, but
really
shipped just
worldwide.
means that Nintendo shipped 1.5 million to
1.5
retailers.
million sold.
That's better.
So far, yeah.
Because I can
Where
say that I've shipped 1 million copies of my solo album to JB Hi-Fi. It doesn't mean I've sold any.
Yeah, it doesn't mean they want it. You've sent them to the dumpster out the back.
It's impressive because the Wii U, I think, is currently sitting on 12 million sold, and of course, there's always going to be a lot of hype when a console sold. But 1.5 million after 5 years of everyone saying they're over Nintendo and Nintendo has no good games.
Yeah, but it's still really impressive. Not everyone. That's the internet saying it. You don't listen to what those idiots say.
No, but that's the perceived journalism. I don't know. That's where a lot of people form their opinions, regardless of whether it's
I think
true or not.
The Wii U had so many troughs, though, that's understandable. So, Mario Kart 8 comes out. Yep, big hype, good, people buy it. And then, radio silence for ages. And then, I can't even say Mario Party because that was horrible.
Yeah.
What was the next one? Xenoblade Chronicles.
Yeah,
Xenoblade,
hype again, and then dead.
Oh no, that was Wii.
Anyway, Nintendo, if you're listening, please bring a Monster Hunter game to Switch.
They will. They will. I'm honestly surprised that so many Switches have sold. Because I mean, as mentioned on the second last podcast, I was hesitant because of the library. I just happened to have $300 worth of JB vouchers for my birthday. And I knew I was going to buy one eventually, so I got it. But there's not a lot on offer right off the bat.
There's
not. I say there's not a lot on offer. There's a Zelda game on offer, and it's been getting 10s across the board. That's
pretty good.
It's a pretty fucking giant carrot, right? But you know what I mean? Apart from that, like for 1.5 million sales of a console which has, Zelda. Because it's got a Bomberman remake,
which isn't doing very well.
Which is a little. It's what?
The Bomberman remake's not doing very well.
Yeah, actually, I was going to buy that, and I held off buying it because, I thought that'd be a fun game to do that little stand-up thing,
Yeah, and
Bomberman's a great 8-player local game.
I think that's the only saving grace from the articles I read. But Bomberman's not really been of great interest to me anyway.
That's a bit outdated these days.
Once they get the virtual consoles anyway.
Well, I think...
And the virtual consoles, to me, are where I'll start using that kickstand thing a lot more.
Yeah.
So
I'll quite happily buy some of my old
Super Mario Brothers or whatever
stuff. Yeah, I'll rebuy them and I'll play the old multiplayer games, like the original Super Bomberman on... Well, was it the original? The Super Nintendo one, anyway.
It's one of the early ones, yeah.
Nintendo did a good job with the eShop on the Wii U from the way they price things. I think 64 games were $15-$20.
It wasn't bad.
Not exorbitant. It's a decent price for an old game. So if they can keep that up, and I'm sure they will.
I think that's pretty safe because I was looking and Zelda at launch was $80. Bomberman was $65. Snipper Clips was $30.
Yeah.
The prices on the eStore are equal to or less than shelf prices in most stores. Like even shelf prices in places like W, they're beating, and
they're doing a lot better with it.
Yeah.
I think it's because there's no region in it as well, so you can make an American account and access the American store, and so they have to factor that into the Australian prices now, rather than charging through the teeth.
There's also that little trick where you can flick stores. You don't have to create a new account. You can change. There's something where you can change the regional settings for your store, and you can actually.
You have to change the regional settings of your Nintendo account to actually go to the.
It's the whole thing.
Of the store.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
it's not hard.
I think they're also banking on the fact that it can only fit 2 games on the system anyway.
No, you can buy a micro SD card and you can fit a lot more on the system. You can theoretically make the system 2 terabyte once they release the 2 terabyte micro SD.
Oh yeah, it's under the little kickstand. It's got a little little slot. I got to say, how good is it having game cards again? Huh?
Yeah, cartridges are the best. I love it.
Magic. I've been waiting for them to go back for so long.
The load times is like nothing. It's non-existent.
Yeah.
That's not true. Zelda takes forever to load.
I'm gonna lose a game one day. No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
Hardly takes
Are you
any
kidding
time.
me?
It's not
And the
instant.
best
it
thing
in-
is you can stand by and resume a game so quickly now
Yeah,
because it's all
that's-
That
There
I'll
are two
agree with.
really good features I like. The standby mode, I can instantly resume where I'm playing, and that'll activate if your battery is about to go dead. It'll go into the standby and preserve your game, so you don't lose
Yeah.
anything. The other feature I love is it charges the two controllers on the side, and you can use the USB ports to plug two more controllers in, like if you had Pro controllers to charge. So when I'm not using my console, everything's charged back up to proper setting, whereas the PS4 can do that in the rest mode, but it becomes so unstable in that mode that I never use it for risk of like bricking my hard drive.
Joy-Con's
Oh.
battery life is good enough that you don't really need to charge it that often, though.
Yeah. Well, even the Pro
Mine have
controller,
never gone dead
I've
yet.
left that off for 3 days. Yeah. They're pretty good.
I don't think I've recharged my Pro controller yet.
Wow.
Not that I've put a huge amount of time into Zelda anymore, but it's been an interesting direction. If you haven't played a Zelda game before, you don't really need to worry. There's not really
Nope.
that much callback to the others. I think
It's
Yeah,
nearly
there
a
was
soft
there?
reboot. No. Just you get a little bit more out if you played them, or you learn how to play Zelda through playing older Zeldas. But this gameplay, I guess, breaks away from that a
So,
lot.
Ben, you finished it,
Yeah.
and
No spoilers.
no spoilers.
No, I will not spoil the game. I can't
But,
believe Zelda died though. That was unexpected.
Yeah, I know. See, no spoilers. I'm only up to the bit where you find out that Zelda is Ganon.
Yeah, that was shocking.
I haven't
I
got
know.
there yet.
Legitimately, what happens in Twilight Princess?
Oh, really?
yeah,
I don't
continue.
remember that.
Yeah.
I've forgotten Twilight Princess. There's a couple of things that are
Of course,
annoying
a
me
lot of
with
minigames
Zelda, though.
kind of fun.
The what?
Yeah.
What's that?
The few things that are annoying me with Zelda is Zelda herself seems like a really whiny character.
It's a voice actor, dude. They need to ditch that
That's-
voice actor.
That's the second point, is that the voice acting is pretty bad so far. There's only
Only
been
for
a,
Zelda.
Well,
Right,
no.
that's all right.
I reckon the Zora princess, I don't like her voice actor either.
Can't remember her.
see,
haven't-
I don't think it's bad.
It is
I just
bad.
don't think it's the best voice acting I've ever heard. I did switch it over to the Japanese language briefly. The Japanese voices seem to fit the characters a lot more.
Were you able to
Goron-
change just the audio?
No,
Because my
you have
problem
to
was I
change
could flick it.
region,
Yeah.
the whole concept.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
It's not-
problem I had because I wanted to do the same. I was like, well, for the amount of talking, I'll happily listen to it in Japanese, which I think is a cool sounding language, and read subtitles. But yeah, no joy.
This time. I
This
do
time
like
is Zelda.
Zelda's voice at the start, and at the end of the
it's still
game when
terrible.
it gets a bit more dramatic. I felt she did the role really well. There's just some parts in the middle where she's more neutral. That I don't know. Yeah, the voice actress is a little weird. She's very kind of like European, and I've seen a picture of her. And I don't know. There's kind of a mannerism. I don't know how to describe it. A mannerism that kind of goes with how she's doing the accent and stuff that I don't think maybe is as effective as whereas
She's
like
just
a
too
Ruder
breathy,
lady.
dude.
Preemption.
She's too
Yeah,
breathy.
maybe
She
it's that.
sounds like she's putting on a voice and trying to make it sound. It doesn't sound natural. It sounds like she's putting on a voice to me.
It's bad. That's all you need to know.
Done.
I
Next topic.
No, well,
but
see-
the character of Zelda
Everyone
is good,
agrees that
regardless
it's
of voice
terrible.
acting. That's subjective.
Hang on.
No.
Just let
Terrible.
me lead into our next topic, you guys. So
Well, we haven't even talked about Zelda. You just mentioned something you
Yeah,
don't
we
like
have. We
about
all agreed that it's shit.
yeah,
Next.
Ben, move on. So I think one of the reasons that I judge it a lot more harsh is because it's been getting 10 out of 10s everywhere. Which leads me
Still
to
pay attention to that though.
well, not as a sales point, but it's more of a point of annoyance for me now. I know we've talked about off podcast 10 out of 10s and the whole ethos, I guess, of the perfect game with the Another Dungeon website. And my philosophy is
that's a whole podcast in itself there.
yeah, so my philosophy is there's no such thing as a perfect game, so nothing can be 10 out of 10. Whereas
My
I think
philosophy is there is such a thing as a perfect game, but
To
it has
you.
to be perfect
so.
to me.
I
to me.
think it can
But
be.
I'm the one writing the review, right?
Ben,
It's like that
Ben.
person that gave
Yes.
it 7 out of 10.
Yes.
just take your little Nintendo boy pants off for a second
Yeah. All right.
and put on your
Wearing
big
my
boy
We're not
pants.
talking Zelda, we're talking
Yeah.
some other game.
So let's talk Zelda for a minute. So you dock your console, you run around, and there's frame rate drops. That does not coincide with a 10 out of 10 game. Weak character, bad voice acting. That does not coincide with the 10 out of 10 game.
Well, that's subjective too. I don't think
Yeah,
the
that
voice
is
acting is
subjective.
bad.
Yeah, but you're wrong. In my opinion,
Well,
here's
here's what I think about The Legend of Zelda. I think mechanically, what you do in the game, what your gameplay is like objectively one of the best games I've played. I think you can really study a lot of the game design that's going into the game, and you should study that if you want to design a game because it's really clear what it wants to achieve, and it's really flawless in that specific execution. Where the game experience is lessened for me is I don't think the story is quite as rich because they were doing kind of a soft root thing. And maybe for me it was really just tiny little things like some of the button layouts or some of the inventory management. But the game, see, I tend to call a game perfect, or you're right, I don't really like to use numbers anymore, except ironically. But for me, a game does
perfect.
really well. Yeah, I'll call it. A game does really well when it accomplishes what it is. So for me, for instance, Yoshi's Island is a perfect game because it's a side-scrolling platformer. It's really fun. It has a beautiful art style. It really clear with Yoshi's gameplay how that works, and is really unique, but sticks within the rules that it sets up and creates. I feel Zelda does the same thing. As a perfect game, it sets up these rules and it sticks to them, and the gameplay is really fun in between that. However, if people don't feel like it's 10 out of 10, if there are reasons why they don't consider it perfect, I fully understand that because there are things, for instance, frame rate, that never really affected me majorly, and I think is something that will probably be patched out later on. But it's hard to say whether that is the console or the game itself.
it's
Either way,
that
that to me is a detraction from the word perfect in itself.
it's the extra
Perfect to me is
textures
flawless.
that it tries to load
I
when
even
it's stopped.
ultimately wouldn't say Zelda is a perfect game. Probably, I would probably. I was nearly gave a number score.
I would say it's a 9 out of 10.
It's definitely up there. I think it needs
I'd
to
give
be a
it the
little
same
bit
as I gave
richer.
Witcher 3, a 9.5 out of 10. Definitely.
Yeah.
It's very close to perfect. I've actually given a perfect score to a game and I still stand by it.
What
And
was
listening
that?
to you talk about your reasoning, it's a lot of it's for that reasoning, but I also found no flaws with it. Controls were perfect, art styles. There's nothing I would ever change about that game to make it better.
See,
Yeah.
I think my main issue is that you see all these places giving it that score. I immediately will start playing the game being a lot more judgmental, which is what happened with The Last of Us. I was trying not to look at any of the scores before I played it, and then, driving down, you see billboards that said 10 out of 10. I'm like, great. Now I'm going to judge this game. And I ended up not enjoying it that much.
So you can't distance yourself from the sort of
there's something in my
public tide of opinion?
there's something in my mind that when I see 10 out of 10, I instantly get more critical. And I don't know
You're
why.
like,
That's true.
See,
Because if there's
Poppy
something I
syndrome.
love and I talk about it, you will get critical of the thing that I treasure precious. That's
see,
very much your personality.
there's games that are totally buggy. Like, I love Bethesda games and Fallout and Skyrim and that sort of stuff. And they're absolute broken messes at launch sometimes, but I would still rate them very highly.
Often.
That yeah,
They often accomplish what they set out to be.
yeah, and I think you are right, but I don't know if maybe as I get older, I don't think I have come across the game that deserves a perfect score. Maybe perfect's not the right word to use, but when I see 10 out of 10, that there is no higher score than that, so that in my mind means perfection.
I'm the same.
we've also got the problem of technology is helping us get to a point where, one, more and more people are able to express themselves and make games. Two, the quality of games is like crazy. The stuff we're able to
Questionable.
achieve in games.
I disagree with that last
there-
point. I think that the
Okay.
quality. So a perfect example would be Super Mario World on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
All right, maybe that's not a perfect example. You can make that graphically a bit better,
Okay.
but
here's-
they had the power to make. Sorry, go on. Yep.
well, kind of not exactly the quality of the whole game, but for instance, we now can make Mario Maker, which is in kind of production quality objectively better than Super Mario World because it is Super Mario World, but you can do all this stuff that wasn't possible in games back when
No,
Super
it's a
Mario World
different
was made.
game. It's a different
but-
game.
But I guess what I'm trying to say is, I now I've forgotten. we can do all this stuff in games, so it keeps raising the bar of people's what they're surprised or
Expectations?
impressed with. That's why games like a couple of years ago, every game was 9 out of 10, and this year it seems like every game is 10 out of 10 straight away. And a lot of that's probably money laundering through game journalism websites, but I think genuinely, like, yeah, people are struggling to like compare a game that exists now to one that
You
existed
can't,
a few years
though.
ago because
So, like,
keep pushing, yeah.
in line with what you were saying, 10, 15 years ago, people were excited by the fact that you can run, right, and jump.
Mm.
But now that's such a standard nominal thing. Although, okay, I say that, but in Ghost Recon Wildlands, you can't jump. You can only climb. So there's still games where you can't jump these days. But the standard and the bar keeps getting raised and raised. It's not. You have to be so objective if you are comparing a game now with a game from even 5 years ago.
And I think by and large, because the production costs and everything games are going up, at a base level, a lot more games are likely to be base level fun than to be complete disasters like ET or just garbage SNES games you would play as a kid.
You know what this almost makes me feel? I don't know if you guys used to read this magazine or these sorts of magazines, or whether I'm going to
What's
show
a
my age.
magazine, Dave?
That like an e-letter?
Back in the days, you used to have, so rather than they'd have a segmented score. So you'd have gameplay, graphics, sound,
Yeah.
and then say an overall score. But you got a breakdown
And then we
a
got
breakdown
lazy.
that led up to it. So something like you could say, right back to the Super Mario World, you could say that for the Super Nintendo, the graphics were, say, a 9 out of 10. Now, if you saw a game with those graphics today, well, it'd probably be an indie game promoting retro stylings. But
So 9
that
out of
aside-
10. No.
But you know what I mean? The graphics were well utilized for the game, and they enhanced the gameplay to an extent. They'd be a bit more polished now, but it would still be a high thing. But the gameplay of Super Mario World still, in my mind, still stands up today. In fact, the same with what was the Legend of Zelda on Super Nintendo?
Link to the Past.
Yeah. That still stands up as one of my favorite Zelda games. I'm always going back to that one and
Well,
still
see,
enjoying it as much as I do today.
I very legally played that on a ROM many, many, many years after it came out.
don't
And
think
even
they'll care anymore.
I was surprised by the fact that your shield could block arrows. Like, for a game back in the day, like, that simple game mechanic blew my mind.
That's really interesting.
I don't know
Okay.
why, and I don't know why I remember
Lots of
that.
games
but-
had that sort of thing.
well, I never had a NES.
Do you know
or a
in Breath of the Wild, your shield can still block arrows, even 2017? How impressive is that?
Yeah, or like 2 arrows and,
and
then
it
it
can
breaks.
catch on fire.
And then it breaks.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Yeah.
the fire mechanics is the best.
There's so many-
Actually, can we go back to Breath of the Wild for a second? I
Yeah,
wanted to
can we
ask
talk
you
about
something.
some of the good things about it?
All right, so the
Oh, but I have
physics
bad things to
engine,
bring up.
the physics
All right,
engine in
yes,
it
sir.
is amazing.
Physics.
Well,
Yeah. So did you?
know that-
No, it's my turn. Did you
Okay.
did you see the clip from Video Game Donkey? So he
The
picked up
chicken?
No.
he picked up a cuckoo, managed to get an enemy to
Oh,
hit the
yeah.
cuckoo, and it just the cuckoos. Traditionally, the cuckoos, if you hit it, they'll attack Link until he dies. And this time, if you get an enemy to do it, they'll just peck the enemy to death.
Swarm and kill him.
There's so
I've seen
many clever
someone-
things you can do.
I've seen someone set a bear on fire, mount the bear, and then run through the forest, setting the
and then run
forest
through
on
the
fire.
forest, setting it on fire. Yeah, that's good.
So how they actually achieved all of these crazy mechanics in the game is they built a physics engine to deal with the physics side of stuff. But then whilst two of the developers were drunk on sake, they developed a chemistry engine, or the idea of a chemistry engine. So they have the physics, but they also have this engine dealing with elements of like fire, ice, wind, and whatever, lightning. And they use that to register what objects are being changed in the physics engine, changing state by the chemistry engine. And that allows them to achieve all this kind of like coherent rules and gameplay without having to make like each specific asset for each area to function that way. You can push a rock from one end of Hyrule to the other end of Hyrule because they built the engine so well to keep track of objects and the ways they're changing.
It's pretty impressive.
And yet it can't remember that I dropped a sword on the ground if I fast travel away and go back again.
Well, the blood moon rises.
The
once
unbreakable
again.
swords that you can't get back again. Bastards. Yeah. So one of the things I wanted to ask you guys about was that traveling, actually. How did you find navigating your way around? Like, all right, well, I'll explain what my issue has been to give you some context. So my problem has been there have been times when I want to get somewhere and it's kind of gets a bit boring just running and climbing my way through the wilderness, especially when you're in an area, say, where you can't get your horse or something like that, and it just takes a while. Did you guys find that at all?
I thought I would. That was my biggest concern going into the game. But surprisingly, I at no moment ever found myself bored. I'm a big fan of 3D platformers, and I think that maybe had a lot to do with it. With setting my own challenges to climb and jump to places. I spent a whole day just going through the snowy mountains. This pitch white snowy storm. You can't really see much. I thought I would hate that, having to climb these mountains. I had a blast uncovering the secrets. I found the world was populated enough, even if there was no event, just interesting geography or challenges that I always found a way to entertain myself across the entire world. And I've found all the shrines and done everything. So I was surprised how like playground-like the world is, that I could just play with things.
I found moments.
So I've not found that much.
I found moments of boredom. There's not much direction in the game. I know there's overall direction, but you pretty much left your own devices from relatively early on. And so I spent most of my time climbing a tower, looking for the next tower, and then running straight there. So the way I play is
that's how we play games, yeah.
So I was about to say the way I play was quite different to the way Jackie has been playing. She seems to follow roads a lot more than I do. Where, the first one, go to Kakariko Village. I pick a straight line and I climb the mountain and then run down the mountain. And I missed all the starting stable because I didn't run along the road. And I thought, this is crap. This game has no stables. And then I came home the next day and saw where Jackie was up to, and she was like, "Oh no,
there's all these fun side missions.
There's a stable here and there's a stable here." I'm like, "What the hell?" So the way I play is very much
that's interesting.
Shortest distance between 2 points. So I've been trying to force myself on the roads a bit more to try and encounter things a bit more.
Okay, well, I'm exactly the same as you, Tim. I find my destination and I tend to, like, I'll find a shrine or something. I'll sidetrack for shrines and that sort of things.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Ben's
no.
just crashed.
That's all right. Let's finish without him. Hopefully he can recover.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I play the same as you. The other things I wanted to bring up on that, though, was it's so nice being able to climb in The Legend of Zelda, because it's like the first shrine, right? The one, when you got to find the 3 extra shrines in the plateau at the start. Yeah, I was trying to figure out how to make that guardian blow up the pile of rocks in the wall, because I knew from previous Zeldas that a pile of rocks means you bomb it.
Yeah. Yep.
And it took me ages. And then one time I went back and went, oh, yeah, I can climb in this game. I don't have to run around the edge of mountains trying to find the path that leads up. I can just climb as long as I've got the stamina. And, yeah, the ability to climb damn near everything just cuts out a lot of that tedious...
Early game, I I'd forgotten to. I think I know the one you talked about, the one where it's kind of a maze and there's guardians everywhere shooting at you. So I went.
Yeah, and you can just run around the back near the temple and climb over.
I ran around the back and I was like, "There's no way in here. Like I have to run past this guardian that's going to kill me." And then accidentally ran into the wall and he started climbing. I'm like, "Oh yeah, I can just climb over this wall."
Yeah, but that's awesome, isn't it, for navigation?
It's a pretty cool feature. It's got annoying a couple of times, but not in a significant way.
How did it get annoying?
Just accidental grabs, or
okay.
Actually, and the opposite's true. Sometimes when I've been hang gliding and I've really needed to grab a ledge, he just keeps gliding into the mountain and I just run out of stamina and drop into water and die.
I always press the release button before I did that, so that I'll crash into the wall without holding the whatever it's called, paraglider.
Yeah. I think without, and this is the thing I struggle with survival games in general, is without direction I get bored quickly. There's enough dribbled throughout the worlds, I think, where if you go to the right places, for lack of a better word, there are, small events and stuff like that. My quest log is relatively full of side quests that are... The thing with the side quests is probably 80% of them, the little quest marker is only ever where you got the quest. It's not where you need to go.
Yes.
Where it's usually you've got to find and figure out, which isn't too bad, but when you're already in a massive game and, time is limited because you're old, you kind of want a bit of direction rather than having to explore the entire world to find something.
See, I didn't mind that because most of the quests I've found so far have been fairly localized to the quest giver. So if I went away and then went, hey, I'm going to go back and do that quest finding this stone that some dude told me about, I could go back to where he was.
Yeah.
And then he would retell me the quest and I'd go, right, I know it's in the immediate vicinity. Or in one case, I couldn't find it. So I think I waited until like mid-afternoon and he actually walked to the bit that he was talking about studying. So I could actually follow him there. And it was the one where you had to shoot a stone at night or something.
Shoot the cursed eyes at night.
Yeah. And that right there is one of the things I love about Zelda. So the quests, the shrines, absolutely everything. They've got all these core world mechanics or like the physics engine, the chemistry engine, all that sort of stuff. But they just use them in such damn clever ways that every quest and side quest and shrine feels unique. It feels like a new puzzle each time. It doesn't, so far, it hasn't felt like anything's recycled or, combat's too hard that there's a combat. It becomes a case of being really good at combat or overpowered at combat.
My only gripe with combat is the timing seems quite out. Like often I will... Yeah, you know how you can dodge and then you can do flurries.
For the flurry, yeah.
So half the time I'll dodge well past after they've swung at me. Like the club has gone past, dodge, and you still get the flurry. Like
really?
The timing
Mine's pretty precise.
It feels like it's off. It could just be me though. But there's some pretty good puzzles in the shrines, and I have not by any means done all or even probably half of them. Hello.
Hello, Ben. Welcome back.
Hi. Thank you.
Is your recording recoverable?
It is dead. The same crash.
I reckon shit. And you give me crap for using a Mac.
Well, I give you guys crap for using Skype. It's garbage water.
Why? Well, Skype's not the thing giving you Windows errors.
Yeah, well, it probably is.
No, I reckon it's the Windows 10 overloading or something. The app.
Well, Skype is Windows as well. We should go back to that other one we used 2 weeks ago.
Discord.
Anyway, we can grab the start of the podcast from the Switch feed. It won't be as clear, but at least
Who's that? Ben.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's doing.
Can you hear me?
Don't know.
Hear me?
That's
Well, I think this podcast will be. I'll just have to grab audio from the Twitch
Hello,
feed,
can you hear me?
and it'll just be crap quality, but that'll have to do.
better. Can I, before we go, I just want to say one more other positive out of the many, and that's the music in the game.
Yeah,
Or more
actually,
importantly, the lack of music. It's just astoundingly atmospheric.
yeah, the audio atmosphere is amazing in the game. Yeah, and then
You know
yeah,
do you know the broken song that comes on when you're riding? That if you speed it up will play the Hyrule theme, and the point is to have like a broken down version to represent the Broken Down Kingdom.
thanks, Ben.
Really?
I thought they reversed
I probably both had the same.
the Skyward Sword theme. I thought it was neat.
That's amazing.
Is that
think-
true, or is that just
No,
people
that's true.
saying?
You can
It
watch a video of it
represents the
sped up on
broken
YouTube.
world.
No, it's real. They're that clever with these things.
Yeah,
Cool.
sounds a bit too artsy-fartsy for me.
Yeah.
I just like that it's slow. I like that it's,
Or when you're running through a field and then all of a sudden the music for the Guardians comes on and you crap yourself.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
There's there's a lot of clever
You
things.
realize it's your ringtone.
Sorry?
Did
Oh,
you
no.
realize it's your ringtone?
I don't think I'd say that as my ringtone. There's a lot of clever things they've done with Zelda. It is very different from the other ones.
It really is. That they have taken a series that was, in my opinion, and I know you'll probably hate me for this, Ben, but I didn't like Twilight Princess that much, I don't think.
I didn't mind
And
it.
I played it on Wii, I think, which was part of my problem. Should have played it on GameCube. And I could not stand... Was it Skyward Sword?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one was just awful. And they seem to have taken it... This one, they seem to have taken back to the basics enough. They've completely reinvented the way you play the game while retaining everything that makes it a Zelda game. So it's a game like... There's no other game like it. I can't think of a single other game that is like this. And that's something that stayed true with Zelda through the years, you know? I don't know why no one's managed... I mean, even games like 3D Dot Heroes and stuff like that tried to do it, but no one's
Darksiders
managed
too.
to get...
Yeah.
That's not Zelda.
A lot of people said it's Zelda-esque. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I disagree.
Well, I think how it worked was with the original Legend of Zelda, the point was exploration. It's based on Miyamoto's childhood exploration. And when they came to 3D technology, they adapted that as best they could at the time to the 3D world to reinvent what the game was.
They did that well. That was Ocarina, right?
Yeah, that's one of the biggest jumps in technology and gameplay and rethinking conventions we've ever seen. They kept using that for Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, adding stuff and changing stuff, but it was never quite the same rebirth. And Skyward Sword was... I like things about it, but it's definitely the weakest of probably all the...
The most annoying
main
thing was
3D
having to bloody
fly
back up to... That's why I stopped playing. I got to a point where maybe the fourth or fifth time you had to go back to town, I was like, nah, I'm not doing this.
The strengths of that game is the character animations and like really subtle stuff no one notices, or the Monet rendering, which really actually inhibits the game because it's not in HD, so you can't appreciate it. But
right there, I don't give a crap about that. It's like I didn't like the art style at first in Breath of the Wild, mainly because I was playing it on a shitty monitor. Once I put it on the TV, I looked at it on the screen, I was happy with it. But see, that stuff I don't care about.
Yeah, so that stuff aside, the gameplay of those games were just copy-paste Ocarina of Time. To make Breath of the Wild, they went back and thought about Zelda 1 and what made Zelda Zelda. And to pitch the idea, they actually made an 8-bit version, like 8-bit Zelda 1, but remade it so it was open world and you could interact with the environment the same way. They had stuff where the fire items could set 8-bit trees on fire, you could cut down trees and make logs, and that could float in the river. And they put a physics engine in Zelda 1, showed everyone was like, yeah, this would be hella fun. And then they built the game up and were given full control over breaking all the conventions. It's a lot of the new devs of Nintendo stepping up and directing stuff and leading the tech and stuff. And yeah, they were really able to capture that essence, but completely rebirth what Zelda is to people.
Mm. Tim?
So it's definitely a 10 out of 10 game.
I'm enjoying it. When I play, I usually play for extended periods of time. Sometimes it's the mentality of jumping back into an open world without much direction. I have to remember to set my own goals. It's got enough to keep me interested and keep playing. And usually the exploration has some payoff to it. Not all the time, but the one thing I've been trying to, or one thing that I toy around with is every time I see a mob of enemies, I'm like, what is the actual point to killing these guys? I'm going to damage my good weapons.
Usually a chest with a stupid opal in it.
Sometimes there's a chest with a reward in it, and half the time the weapon in that chest is worse than what I'm using. So it's really, there's not as much reason to engage, I guess, unless you just like killing things.
But I think that's kind of the point, in that there are some parts of the game where it's not beneficial to fight enemies. And it's up to you to decide, is that the fastest path to cut through them? Or should I go around? Or do I want to go that way? Is the chest worth it?
There's usually a way to stealth it too, like take out the sentries with headshots and then shoot the rope that drops the fire onto the exploding barrel, which,
which is good.
There's usually a few different ways about it.
I usually find all those ways after the fight.
Yeah.
So maybe if I paid more attention before. But no, it's good. I mean, I am liking it. It's a very wise choice for a launch title. I think it helps sell the Switch well. They just need to, in the next couple of months, I guess, follow up with something else strong.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, the
Mario Kart 8 is not it.
Yeah, it is for me.
It's not.
I'll happily play that again. I love Mario Kart.
I look
play
forward
the
to
old
it.
ones.
I need a little bit more. Yeah, they need to do something single player or like ferociously multiplayer. Have you keep coming back?
What they need to do is take the Diddy Kong Racing and add that story mode into.
Yeah.
Not Diddy Kong, but add that type of story mode. That was great. But look, with the console and with Legend of Zelda, has. I haven't been this excited and thinking about playing a game outside of playing the game in a long, long time.
Yeah.
Maybe since either Dark Souls 1 or maybe Assassin's Creed 1 on the Xbox 360. And I know that finishing this game is going to ruin me for gaming for a while.
Yeah.
What about Dark Souls 3?
Nah, that wasn't... Did I play 3?
Probably not.
Is that the current one?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I stopped after Bloodborne, which I know wasn't a Dark Souls game. I love Dark Souls 2, but then Bloodborne kicked my ass too much, and I don't have the time or the skill to play those games anymore. But and the console itself, it surprised me. I'm liking it a lot more than I thought I would, to the extent that it's already my first choice of console for cross-platform now. The ability to take it and play on the go without having to go, all right, well, I'm going to go on the train today. I'll take my DS and I'll play, what am I playing at the moment? Oh, I'm replaying Layton. Or, some 3DS specific or Vita specific game. I'll be able to take the thing I'm playing at home and just play it on the go. It'd be nice if there were more cross-platform things for it, but hopefully that'll come with time.
It'll come with time.
The console's just astounding.
Yeah. There's already, no plans for Andromeda, or... what was the other one? There's another big title there's no plans to bring to the Switch. But, I mean, you're right. Over time, I guess that will probably come. But it's not...
I hope so.
It's not going to be my go-to for cross-platform, but it's still a great console.
Yeah. See, I think
they've done well.
The 1.5 million sales that we were talking about at the start will help the cross-platform viability for developers. So they'll go, oh, shit, all right, well, we've already got 1.5 million of them out now.
And so it's not as difficult to port as it used to be. It should be relatively...
it's built into Unity and...
Unreal 4 and all that
the other
common
Unreal,
stuff.
That's it, yeah.
So, in theory, it should be easier for them to do ports. So, I mean...
Indie devs saying it's much easier than the Wii. The Wii was very difficult.
Yeah, but they're not the people I want to come across
Yeah.
to Switch.
They're not the people that are going to make
no,
the big bucks
apart
for
from
the Switch.
Stardew Valley. I am looking forward to that on the Switch because apparently that's got multiplayer.
That has multiplayer first.
Yeah,
Didn't we talk about that on the last podcast?
we did. Sorry,
Yep.
I'll raise it again because Stardew Valley's good.
You guys mentioned before, like, you wanted to know why 1.5 million things had sold. I
Did
think
we?
it's largely because people had seen the design. I think it's a console that really doesn't try to compete with the PS4. It tries to be its own thing, and it can slot into lots of people's different lifestyles in very different ways. And you can play PS4 games and you can play Switch games, and they're not in competition with each other. They're just different modes of playing. And I think people see the potential in that. And as long as they can deliver with this drip-fed content and they can attract third-party developers, this could be very successful. But if they can't get that third party, I reckon it's at risk of doing the Wii U thing. But I think people see Nintendo's design in this one a lot more than they understood the Wii U.
Well, the Wii U was arguably bad design, though, as well.
Yeah.
They
I
had
wouldn't
an
say
alright concept, but it was poorly implemented and it just wasn't well executed.
Well, I think
think
we
they
can.
did
I think
as
we can
well.
all agree that the Wii U is the greatest Nintendo console ever launched, and leave it at that.
Hey, I'll tell you what. All right,
Favorite.
flowing on from what Ben said before. Out of my Xbox One, PS4, and Wii U, I've played my Wii U more than any of those other consoles.
Yeah.
What about
But-
your PC?
That's because I'm a PC gamer. So cross-platform, the PS4 and the Xbox One offer me. Well, even the Xbox One doesn't offer me this with any play or anywhere play, whatever it's called. But they don't offer me much of a point of contention from my PC experience, except that it's a little bit poorer. The Nintendo Switch immediately offers me a huge difference. If I buy a game on there instead of PC, I've got it on the thing. I can play it with a controller. I can take it with me, all that sort of stuff. It gives me something new.
I think the challenge will be how the graphics stand up for cross-platform games. So if,
I agree.
let's see, if by some miracle Andromeda did come to the Switch, it'd be interesting the comparisons between the Switch version and the Xbox version.
They'll just be. It's already going to be bad enough with Xbox and PS4 trying to push the importance of 4K. Anything that comes cross-platform, there's going to be a whole shitload of comparison videos up, which make no difference to gameplay. It's just going to annoy me.
We have like VR as a movement as well. You can't have 4K pushing power to the extreme with VR because they have to be designed in completely different ways. I think this generation is going to be like 3 different explorers going in different directions, and which one is able to find civilization or a location to build that civilization first. Rather than everyone heading in the same direction, it's trying to figure out what peripherals do people and gamers actually care about when it comes to game design.
On that note,
It's a fair comparison, yeah.
thank you for listening, everybody. Apologies for the dropout of Ben.
I
We'll
will sue Windows 10.
Just apologise for Ben.
we'll just apologise for Ben in general.
Sorry I was born. Sorry I left Nintendo.
We are part of the Podbros Network. We are on Whooshka, WHOOSHKAA.com. Don't know why they've named it Whooshka in such a difficult way. Anyway, we're on there. It's a good platform, actually. It's really easy for us to upload. We are at anotherdungeon.com. We are at Another Dungeon on Twitter. We are facebook.com/anotherdungeon. We are anotherdungeon.com/YouTube for a forward to YouTube. We are on twitch.tv/anotherdungeon. I've started streaming a little bit more, just trying to iron out some kinks with...
Dropped off, by the way,
What?
the stream.
Oh, okay. That's okay.
I shouldn't interrupt. This is still an audio podcast.
Yeah, we're
Carry
still
on.
live.
Thank you for listening, everybody, and join us next time.
For another 10 out of 10 review.
This podcast is 10 out of 10.
That's 11 out of 10, mate. It's the best podcast.
I'm still going to save my audio just in case.
Please.
I hope you're going to save the audio.
Because I don't have any.
Well, I've got to
Good
do...
night.
I've got to do a Twitch export to YouTube, then download the YouTube video, and then try and extract the audio from that. So
No,
we'll
you
see how
don't. You
that
just
goes.
go to one of the. Just Google YouTube to MP3.
Yeah,
There are ones that'll just extract, download an MP3 file for you straight.
YouTube stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I do it all the time when I'm